Hey guys, this is Vol. Today I was actually at a Warhammer Fantasy Battles tournament, but when I took my camera home to check out the photos, I realized that I actually had some photos from the previous weekend where I was playing a practice game against Brian at the City Guard Club, so I'm just going to do a battle report on that so that I've got everything on YouTube in chronological order. This is Warriors of Chaos against Vampire Counts, both of our tournament lists up against each other. Brian's got a very ghoul-heavy list with two big horde units of ghouls. He's got a massive number of Black Knights in one unit and some Blood Knights. A level 4 Vamp, and so a Corpse Guard as well. I've actually toned my army down in terms of size. I've got a big busload of Marauders, big unit of Knights, only one unit of Knights now rather than two, and I've got a Chaos Lord on foot with 4+ ward save. You guys might have seen this in a previous video. So here we are against each other, and it's the Watchtower mission deployed as follows. In the next picture, a bit more of a close-up. The plan here is just to go on either side of the building with my troops and bash his ghouls up. And I've got an answer to his Black Knights in the form of a single hero and Juggernaut. Believe it or not, he's actually pretty good against the Black Knights on his own. And the other side, it's the Knights against his Blood Knights. So that's that deployment there. In the next image, you can see him right around the side with his Black Knights. And the Black Knights, although there's 12 of them, they really are just sort of one guy against a Juggernaut. And the thing is, the Juggernaut can't be killing blowed with the 6s, so that's why I've decided to opt for that little maneuver around the side. I've also got hounds to put in their way should things, look a little bit iffy. And he's just put all of his troops in the middle, counting my Marauders and Warriors of Chaos to be better than his ghouls just generally, especially with the backup of some spells, but he does have the Helm of Commandment in this list with his level 4 Fighty Vamp. Well, not really Fighty Vamp, just a command of Helm of Command Vamp, so we'll see how it goes. Next image, he's actually moved up here with Ghoulkin, ready to either take the building or just move around the building if he wants. I think this is a mistake from Brian, probably the first time he's played me, and not really sure whether to go ahead or pull back. Really, against Warriors of Chaos in this sort of matchup, you don't really want to charge at them. You sort of want to outmaneuver them and wait for your spells to kick in rather than just going straight all out. Next image, I've actually moved up right next to the house with, well, the Watchtower, I should say, with the hounds. Just not really sure what they're doing there. Trying to redirect the ghouls maybe to try and get a flank charge, but that was sort of in the back of my mind. Really, the ghouls shouldn't actually, the warhounds shouldn't be in the way of the Chosen there next to the Marauders. They should be elsewhere, redirecting the Blood Knights or something like that. So a little bit of a iffy play sort of by me, but at least I'm in a decent position. That big busload of Marauders should be able to beat down the ghouls eventually, especially since I've got a Chaos Lord in there as well to help them out. Next image, what happens here is that he actually tries to charge my Chaos Knights with his Blood Knights and falls short and then fails to cast Van Hells, luckily for me. So I'm charging him instead. He doesn't have his Lance bonus. Now, Frenzied Chaos Knights against Frenzied Blood Knights, it's a bit of a battle. My armor saves are better than him. Strength is pretty much the same. And if I can get spells off in the unit, that's great. But I've got a BSB there as well with a flail. So doing very well in this combat. Quite a nice little photo. And as luck would have it, I managed to roll slightly better than he did and bash most of these Blood Knights to death, which was a real relief. Next image, you can see there's a combat there involving my Warhounds and Marauders. The reason I've moved the Warhounds into the combat is so that they die and the Chosen can then move in and attack the ghouls. So again, a mistake for me to have the Warhounds there, but still a very good combat, just given the fact that the Marauders aren't going to go away. They're stubborn with Leadership 9 and a BSB on the other side of the forest within 12 inches. His his Vampire Lord is right behind his unit of ghouls, giving them weapon skill 7, but I'm still clunking away at them. However, the other ghouls on the other side of the building aren't so fortunate because they don't actually have the Helm of Command on them. It gives my Frenzied Chaos Warriors with Hellbirds a chance to smack them up. Next image, unfortunately, he miscast on 2 dice, rolled a double 6 for a single spell. I used the Infernal Puppet to drag it down to a 5 or less, and he blew himself up, really going Nova and killing a whole bunch of ghouls in the process, essentially handing me the game. So unfortunately for Brian, that it worked out like that. As you can see, his ghoul models aren't quite together yet, but he's working on it. Next image, the Knights have dealt with the Chaos Knights have dealt with the Blood Knights, moved around the forest. The ghouls are pretty much toast. The Chosen are in combat with them. In the background, there's another combat going on with the War Shrine, the Corpse Cart. More ghouls versus Chaos Warriors. Really, the Chaos Warriors are doing very well there. In the far background, there's a Juggernaut. So just going to go to the next photo where you see the Juggernaut up against the Black Knights. And man, what actually happened here is that I swung out with the Juggernaut. He decided not to accept my challenge, and the Juggernaut guy actually killed 5 Black Knights. I've got a charging and down the hill bonus, and I actually wiped out the entire unit in 1 round of combat. So really extreme stuff from this character, performing very well to wipe out a whole unit worth a zillion points on his own. So, going to the next photo, me and Brian, since we'd finished our game early at the club, we had 5 hours for gaming. We had a few hours left, so we decided to have an immediate rematch. Rolled up a different mission. This was just plain old battle line. And, was it? No, actually, I think it was Dawn Attack, where you have to randomize the location of your troops. Can't really remember. Probably why his corpse cut so far away. I think that's what actually happened there. I've got everything right down the center, and he's got his ghouls back there. He hasn't decided to use Ghoulkin this time. He's learned a few things from the last game. So let's just get straight into it. In the next picture, I've actually got both characters in the Chaos Knights this time. Got the War Shrine in the rear and the Chaos Warriors with Hellbirds just following up behind those Knights. Next image, his ghouls just sticking right behind the forest. He's reformed his Blood Knights a little bit. And the reason he's done that is because we're playing the scenario where he's got to keep them in the middle, more than 18 inches away from the one side. But the ghouls were there, so he had to sort of crop his unit a little bit to get to where he wanted to, just because of the deployment zones. So that's what's happened there. Next image, I've moved out. As you can see, the tape measure is just showing us that I am probably within about 17, 18 inches from the Blood Knights. My own Chaos Knights have moved off the hill, and his ghouls are just waiting for me to come into the forest. So this is giving him opportunities to get spells off and things. Next picture, we are getting a bit closer. I've moved all the way up here. Blood Knights are in charge range, and the Chaos Knights are well and truly into the middle of the field. Lighting's getting a bit dim, but we've got light streaming through the windows, giving us little sort of spotlight effects on our units. Next image again, his Black Knights are waiting for me over there, but I've put my hounds conveniently in the way there to prevent him from charging me and bashing me with his Killing Blow Lancers. And the hounds, if they can get rid of the Black Knights, then I can just move into the ghouls with my Chaos Knights and try and wear them down for a while there. Next image, he has decided to charge the Warhounds. And it was really interesting here. We talked about whether it was best for him to overrun and pass the Chaos Knights or reform so he could take the Chaos Knights charge into the face. He decided to go for, I can't remember what it was, I think a reform. He decided to go for the reform, and if we go to the next photo, I decided to charge him directly with my Chaos Knights. I think I managed to get the spell off where he doesn't get... No, I didn't get the spell off where he loses Killing Blow, but still, my Knights here are so extremely powerful in close combat, especially with the 2 characters there. Really made a short work of his unit, really obliterating them. It looks like his unit's very tough because he's actually converted Chaos Knights themselves with skulls on the top, so although they look really beefy and badass, they're actually just Black Knights, and not as good as Frenzied Chaos Knights. Next image, the darkness has swept in, but the spotlight is now on the big Marauders and the Chosen in the forest with the Sorcerer. And that's what's going on here. I'm waiting for him to charge me with his Blood Knights. I've tried to position my Marauders in such a way that he can't charge past the Marauders into the Chosen with his Blood Knights and kill my level 4 Sorcerer. In the next picture, though, you've got my own Chaos Knights who have overrun from the Black Knights and have stopped in front of the Warhounds. His Corpse Card has moved a lot closer to the ghouls, so that's what's going on over there. In the next image, all hell breaks loose as the Blood Knights charge into the Marauders, and the ghouls charge into the forest against the Chosen. Now that's the big mistake which cost me the game. The Chosen didn't do too badly against ghouls. They did do badly, but the ghouls, with so many attacks there and with weapon skill 7, were actually able to beat me in combat, wipe out my Chosen and my Sorcerer Lord. So huge misstep there, really miscalculated how that was going down, and that mistake seriously cost me. Against the Blood Knights, obviously a lot of Marauders died, but I managed to keep the leadership 9 stubborn check in there with the Chaos Lord. He cast a debuff on me which reduced my strength. Didn't dispel it, so that meant the Chaos Lord wasn't strength 7, wasn't able to really get the damage done that he wanted to, plus he kept fluffing his attacks, rolling 1s and 2s to hit. Didn't really help very much. Next image, I've decided to try and bring the game back by flank charging his ghouls with the Chaos Warriors and with the War Shrine. Really needed to do more damage and wipe him out here, but he had too many ghouls, and that's left me in an awkward position with the other ghouls charging me. I believe I had Raptor Standard in this list. Can't quite remember. I think we played it that I did. So that's what's going on there. They're going to stick it out. Next image, the Chaos Knights have turned around to try and save the day over in the middle of the field, but his corpse card is in the way. So that has really annoyed me. If I'd managed to kill the corpse card, I would have been able to flank charge those ghouls and really save the day, keeping my Chaos Warriors alive as well. That would have been brilliant. But it was not to be. In the following, actually there is no following photo, that's where I stopped taking photos. Game turned out to be a loss for me, unfortunately. I did try to claw it back in the end by putting a couple of characters into his ghouls, but he just really wiped out too many points and eventually took up my Chaos Lord as well. So well done to Brian. Bit of practice there for the tournament, and I'll be showing you that tournament set of battle reports coming up right next.